Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is show how to make a decoration on the front of this pot. I'm going to draw a face because I'm not creative, and then I'm going to project it onto the pot. A number of people have asked me how to do this, and so we're going to make the video. The first thing we need to understand is that we have three planes built for us. We have a front plane, and if you look at it from front on, it looks the same. And you have a top plane, and looking down on it, and then you have the right plane. We're going to start with the right plane because we want the front to be forwards. We will eventually fix it so that we're looking at the front, but right now we're going to start with the right plane. The first thing we need to do is something that we haven't done before, which is to make a new piece of reference geometry. We're going to make a new plane that's not one of the three planes that we've already been using. So I'm going to click on plane, and then I want this plane let's just delete that. I was just saving some details from before. So I want this plane to be parallel to the front plane. So I can click here and click on front plane, and I want that plane to be offset, so further away from the front plane towards the front of the pot. And actually you have to do a bit of thinking now, because you need the plane to be to the left of the part of the pot that you want your face on, so that you can extrude cut to your pot, but you don't want it so far away that you end up with a really strange angle when it projects. So I'm just going to go a little bit further than this. Let's do a bit of an experiment. I want my face to appear about here. So that means that 70 is probably too far. So if I go to 63, something like that, you'll see that that overlaps my pot. I'm naughty. My pot is a little bit bigger than 60 millimeters. So let's go to 65. Right. Can you see how there's a little bit of a gap between the front of my pot, where I want my face to be, and the plane? Once I've got that little bit of a gap, then I'm right. Okay, so maybe watch that again if you need to see it again. So I click the tick, and now I have a fourth plane. You can see this one. I'm going to name it face plane. And now I can turn back to the front of my pot, and I can just draw on the face plane the face that I want to draw. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a circle. I'm only going to do half a face, and then I'm going to mirror it so that it's exactly the same on both sides. So let's draw the eyes, and then I'm going to draw half a mouth. So I'm going to go from the middle. We want to go out here and back to the middle. And then I'm going to do the same thing and make one slightly smaller. So line, and then back to the center. Sometimes it has difficulty working out which part of the circle I actually want. And then I'm going to, you don't have to do this. If you don't want to mirror it, that's fine. You can just draw it, or draw a leaf, or draw a flower, or something else. Up to you. You could even write something with text. Okay, so once I'm happy with my face, or in this case half of a face, then I exit my sketch. And when I tilt my pot, you'll see that my face is floating just a little bit off the front of my pot. And you can actually see, because of the curve of the pot, my eye is closer to the pot than my mouth is. And this is going to become evident in a minute when we extrude. There is a whole way to do curved extruding, but it's quite complex, and so I don't want to teach you how to do that in Year 8. Do D&T in later years, and you'll learn how to do that. Okay, so I now have a sketch of half a face and I want to extrude that into the pot. So I go to Features, Extrude Cut, and then I want to be able to see what's happening. So I'm going to click and tilt, and you can see that it's actually cutting a whole centimeter into the pot. Now we don't want that. We want a little bit less than that. So let's have a bit of a guess and check to see how far I have to go in so that the mouth actually is still inside the pot, but it crosses over this line here. And you'll see that it's about 6 millimeters. So because the eyes are so close to the pot, you'll see that the eye actually cuts quite a long way into the pot, and the mouth only cuts a tiny way into the pot. So the only way to make that better is, there's a couple of ways. You could do it separately so that you're doing a different face for the mouth than for the eyes, or you can make sure that that part of the pot is as least curved as possible and make the face really small. There's a couple of things we can do, but the most complex things I'm not going to show you. Okay, so let's just do this extrude cut, and you'll find that oh no, what happened? Look here, we can see that my eye has actually kind of grazed the edge of the pot and not cut in a nice, cut the whole curve. So I can fix this. I'm just going to have to play with it a little bit. So I'll go edit the sketch. I'm going to bring this circle a little bit closer in, and I might, while I'm doing that, bring this shape a little bit up. And so now you'll notice that when I go back to the main drawing, I just double clicked to get back to the main drawing, you'll notice that my extrude cut has fixed itself. And actually the depth might be able to be adjusted now. If I edit this, I can possibly go down to 5 mil. It's a little bit of playing around, but you'll get the hang of it. Okay, so now I have an extruded cut, and I can see both the mouth, half a mouth, and one eye. I'm now going to mirror this so that I get them on both sides. So I'm going to click up here, mirror. And what thing could I mirror around? Well, actually, it's easiest to mirror around a whole plane. So my front plane is the wrong plane, but if I go to the right plane, you'll see that it falls right down the middle of my face. So if I click on that right plane, now I have my face cutting to both sides. Tick that, and I've got a little gap here, so how about I go and fix that up? So inside the extrude cut, I'm going to edit my thing and zoom in. Whoops, wrong way. Let's zoom in just on the mouth. Okay, and see how the mouth isn't lined up with this origin? So we're just going to fix that. Click on this. I'm choosing the white arrow here so that I can click on and then edit this so that see how now it's blue highlighted? So that means that my mouth now lines up with the center. So tick that, we'll exit out of it, exit sketch, and now I'll go back to the full, and you can see that the mouth is now all the way across. Okay, so you'll see that that's cut in. What I will do is now I'll shell it. If you've already shelled it, this is going to be a problem because I have to cut a really deep hole that's 5 mil, remember, because of the curve of the pot. I have to cut it quite deep. But let's have a look at what happens when I shell it. So I want to shell this. I'm going to click on that face and click on shell. And I don't want it to be 10 mil. I want it to be 3 mil. And I tick. When I do that, you'll see there's a little bit of a strange always forget which one's which. There's a little bit of a strange view of part of the face on the inside of the pot. Now, I really don't think this is going to be a problem because we're going to cover it with dirt and nobody's going to see it, and it's not really encroaching on the space that the plant pot is going to need for its roots, so we're just going to leave it. It's fine. It's year 8. But if you do extrude on a curved plane, you'll end up with without this here, but not a big deal. Okay.